A lot of people are talking about the Snake Eyes, the 1998 movie starring Nicolas Cage, to the Charlie Kirk event, noting the coincidences in themes and in very specific examples, a lot of significant overlaps.
Welcome to a Powell pay-per-view television event. It's hard to believe, but tonight's heavyweight...
Namely, it begins with the assassination of a Secretary of Defense named Charlie Kirkland. And Charlie Kirkland is watching this match, and one of the fighters is named Tyler, which is of course the name of Charlie Kirk's shooter.
Millennium Hotel and Casino. I'm eager to go ringside, along with 14...
And throughout it all you have the backdrop of hurricane named Jezebel. The news media insists to the reporter that they refer to it as a storm because they don't want to discourage people from showing up.
Come on, Rick, I got people waiting
That's
for
Tyler!
What are you looking at?
That's Tyler!
Where do you think you going?
The AC executioner standing right in front of me.
So Tyler is called the AC Executioner, the Atlantic City Executioner. This is a Kennedy assassination connection, which, as you'll see, is prevalent throughout this psyop.
You know how Rather got his break? The goddamn Kennedy assassination.
Oh, you make me sick, Lou.
But behind him, the Secretary of Defense gets shot on the left side of the neck. So now you have Tyler as the executioner, the assassination. But the emphasis on Storm is a theme that connects to the programming, predictive programming in Hulu's The Tempest, which I define as concurrent programming. And here's a significant distinction between the two. Snake Eyes is from 1998. This Hulu series was released on September the 10th, and it ran concurrent with the real event. This series begins with a leader of the Youth Republicans, the New Republicans getting shot in the neck where Kirk was shot in a church. And Kirk, of course, means church. So there's that. And after he dies, his widow takes over and is as we saw with Erica Kirk. Interestingly, 4 days before, Charlie Kirk was there in South Korea being prayed for by the exact political group that we see. In Hulu's fictional version of this real-life Charlie Kirk character, it's a fascinating overlap. But what's more, the story of the widow taking over includes the scene where she's coached as to how to take over her husband's organization, much like Kirk did. Well, she's told she has to deliver a moment of vulnerability to cry on camera, because nobody gets elected without crying on camera. She is told that this would be her triple axel moment if she can sell it. So again, significant overlap. That episode somewhat worriedly ends with the submarine launching a nuke. So there's that likely in the future. But again, we're talking about a movie released September the 10th. The widow has a sort of a bodyguard-type protector who works for the Valkyries, and Valkyries are the Norse maidens who transport the fallen heroes to Valhalla. And so, there you have a connection again between the Tempest or the Storm and Valhalla, where Kash Patel said he would be meeting up with Charlie Kirk. And in a way it ties in, I think, quite a bit with the idea of the Valkyrie being perhaps represented here by Erica Kirk.
Erica is the Storm.
So now we've talked about the Tempest and the storm taking place in the backdrop of Snake Eyes, the storm called Jezebel, which could even relate to her as some would make it seem it's suspicious. How prepared and how prophetic she was in almost predicting this, as he did several times.
My fear, Senator, and I hope I'm wrong, and let's stay in prayer that I'm wrong, that someone is going to get shot. The left is creating a pressure cooker with so many of their rank-and-file paramilitary troops that very well might result in one of us getting shot or killed. God forbid that happens. We're getting death threats every single day here on the Charlie Kirk Show.
So now we have 2 movies, but now let's move on to a third one, a show called Lost. And in Lost, an actor then 31 who goes by Charlie in the movie is shot in the neck after making several comments about Superman. And as you know, Charlie Kirk was referred to as the Man of Steel, in light of his neck supposedly stopping the bullet from exiting. So you have this character who isn't really even dead because it's just a premonition, but you see the character go through the motion of dying, bleeding out the left side of his neck, like Charlie Kirk and Secretary of Defense Charlie Kirkland. So just another example of this theme with names. And speaking of names, Joe Rogan was talking to Charlie Sheen, who just released his new series on September the 10th. So the name Charlie is apparently being blasted out at the same time, which is what we would expect within the echo chamber, and I don't think these things are uncoordinated. As Charlie is talking about the JFK assassination,
Never apologize.
Imagine that.
Never
Yeah.
apologize for your baseless conspiracy theories that all turned out to be true.
Yeah.
Because, you know, conspiracies are fucking real, okay? This conspiracy theory pejorative that they really started foisting on the American public during the Kennedy assassination was for that very reason. They wanted to make it ridiculous.
Is that
for you
where
to be
that's where the term was coined?
That's what
to Joe Rogan at the time of the Kirk shooting, and there was a great deal of JFK stuff attached to this, attached to him surrounding it, including Roger Stone saying that they were about to talk about the JFK assassination right before it happened. But these two, Joe Rogan and Charlie Sheen, were talking about Oswald and the
became a
conspiracy
thing
around
during the
it.
Kennedy assassination because a lot of people were questioning it because it looked weird. You know, everything, even the people that hadn't seen the Zapruder film, everything just seemed off. It seemed off. And there was rumblings amongst people that were there. The big one was the shots from the grassy knoll. Many people talked about gunshots.
And that one photo where there's like 15 people pointing to the
Yep.
same spot.
And you see smoke. Someone threw it at him?
No, at me.
Oh.
Like we're in the chair for maybe 5 minutes, and I get from the balcony, I get hit with one right here.
Oh.
And it was just like, wow, all right. That's
Also, pretty good shot.
really good shot.
Guy throws a loony from
Yeah.
the balcony and he hits it in the head. That's impressive.
Like that.
So this just happened. We just found out that Charlie Kirk got shot.
It's fucking awful.
And is he dead?
No, I don't think so.
That's what was just
One of the guys out there just said it was
spoken
confirmed that
in
he's
the
dead.
in the lobby was just
I've been looking. I haven't seen anything that said confirmed.
Whoa.
murder for having a different opinion from somebody else.
Yeah.
Different ideology from somebody else.
Yeah.
Who was on the cover of People magazine saying, "It's a miracle I am alive." Strange timing, but it's called Aka Charlie Sheen, just released September the 10th. And before this happened, he was blacked with South Pole to a large number of people, thereby, I think, associating him with the negative aspects of Eric Hartman, you know, the Hitler Klansman hater kid, and at the same time increasing his visibility. Then against the backdrop of all this, we're talking about predictive programming around it and concurrent stuff. The would-be assassin of Donald Trump, Ryan Roush, attempts to stab himself in the neck. Interestingly, again, this was preceded by what many on the right called their George Floyd moment when the woman on the subway had her throat cut. So, this been something of a recurring theme. The individual sitting behind or standing behind Charlie Kirk during the event doing the hand signs was Pastor Frank Turk, and his two books, Correct, Not Politically Correct, and Stealing from God, both seem to contain what would look to be predictive programming. Predictably, this whole discussion is loaded with conspiracy theorists, all pointing their fingers at Israel. And this is predictable. It's all lockstep. And now they're marching behind Turning Point USA as predicted. But what you're not seeing is you're not seeing any of the alt-media influencers talking about the starting point of the conversation, asking the question, is Charlie even dead? They're coming up with new theories every day, first shooter, second shooter, third shooter, fourth shooter. How many second shooters are they going to have before they find out who did it? It's never going to end. And that's by design. The controlled opposition agents have one purpose, to prevent you from seeing through their illusions. They will talk about second shooters and leave a steady trail of breadcrumbs dispersed over well-worn rabbit trails. They will suggest aliens with direct energy weapons killed Charlie Kirk before they discuss the possibility his death was staged. They can't because they are in on it. They are not investigating these events with their subscribers. They are gatekeeping their subscribers. If a popular alt-media conspiracy theorist won't discuss media fakery, they are part of the meta-conspiracy, and all their theories are misdirection. When you recognize the deception superimposed over our consensus worldview, you can step outside of their reality bubble, and from outside, you'll notice that nobody dies in Psyops. Charlie Kirk is alive. As long as you trust what you see on the screen as evidence, your perceptions will be manipulated. It's a magic show, not a snuff film. The concurrent programming, which is timed with the staged event, is evidence of a common source. The psyops are historic events, myths created by the state, performed in the theater of Psywar upon the world stage. Real life appears to track with Netflix new releases. The occurrence of concurrent programming, and as with Snake Eyes, predictive programming, is a regular occurrence. Entertainment is synchronized with news, specifically with regard to simulated events. The script, what I term the meta-script, is the manufactured history, along with its manufactured villains and martyrs. We are watching this script played out before our eyes.
Well, I say to you that a century from now, when they write of the 2 or 3 pivotal moments that led to the saving of Western civilization, they will write that the sacrifice of Charles James Kirk was the turning point.
Not all news is fake, but the fake news is what drives the narratives, hogs the spotlight and gets the clicks. With this intentionally created echo chamber, fusing fiction and reality, they slip simulated events into our timeline. News media is synchronized with entertainment propaganda, which reinforces the simulated events. Long-term, fake news bends the consensus reality into a cult-like closed informational system, a paradigm defined by state-controlled propaganda. Reality adheres to a script that has predetermined outcomes. Control over the present, the past gives control over the future. This is what the controlled opposition distracts you from.